Light up, just light up. Brother, why is this song so damn good? Hello, 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 I'm here again. Day 5 in a row, kappa. Now, all jokes aside, guys, I'm taking it a bit more serious right now. I wanna keep grinding Twitch. Let's set the music, there you go. There you go. Okay, so before I do anything, I wanna check something out. What do we need to play Clash of Clans on PC? What is that browser called again? PC download. Let's see. So I just press this button. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Bit more complicated than I thought. We do it off stream. Next time. Chat next time we play COC. I'm gonna do the off-tech, the CV attack off stream right now, real quick. If anyone wants to join, here's the code. Today we do the next map. We finish the next map completely. Which one should we do? Yesterday we did Monkey Meadow. It's fucking black border. That's so lit. Looks so good, bro. Yo, I got 1 start. 94. I got 94%. Oh, this feels good. Oh shit, you also get new defense sense in this town hall. Spell Tower and Monolith. Chat, we do tree stump. Maybe tree stump. Shall we finish that? Oh no, in the loop. Let's do in the loop. That's a lot of medals. Long stream tonight. Long stream on this beautiful Sunday. If anyone is down for some cozy BA6 games, here's the code, join in. Let me do my clan war attack in the meantime. Do I have troops? Yes, but not the right ones. I want the flying thing instead of the barracks. Let's remove that. And request this real quick. You know what? Let me just buy that. Now we do the attack. Yep. That's the base. Oh shit, why is it not focusing? What is that? Yeah, whatever. Chat, join in, here's the code. We're gonna black border in the loop tonight. Okay, this guy's down. 1, 2, 3. One, 2, 3. All right. Let's do public for the first match, as always. We do primary only. Yeah. We switch from this to this to this to this to this to this. I'm not gonna do it in a row, I guess. We got somebody. Is he gonna join though? He's staying? That's cool. Okay. Azity goes right there. Let's go, 100%! 3 stars, let's fucking go! The leader got 3 stars for the clan. Let's go. I'm going for Juggernaut and Camo. Juggernaut Camo. On last. Wait, no. Wait, yes. Got 3 stars, let's fucking go, mate. Let's fucking go, mate. Alright, tomorrow, guys, I'm gonna have to set up and then we can do some Clash of Clans on the side monitor, but on stream. Starting tomorrow, I guess. This. Why do I have the feeling he's not going to touch a single balloon? Why do I have that feeling, baby? They're gonna carry the whole game. Dear reader. I'm very currywurst what today will bring with it. Oh, man. Desperado. I want to learn this guy. Like, I don't really know how this guy works. Yo, Vazulu, if you can hear me, drop a thumbs up. Alright, he's a random. Chat, should I start working with titles in my streams? I honestly feel like that's a must do. Like some clickbaity titles, like playing with viewers. Guess there's nothing that's against it, right? Nomad attacks faster than more balloons are in range. When lives are lost, gets temporary range and attack speed increase. Plus a small amount of cash if a balloon leaked. Do we have mob defense? Maybe this guy back here? Yo mate, if you can hear me, I need some money. For the mob mauler. That should be enough. The third upgrade should be enough. That was it, oh my god, holy crap. I did not even see that. GG's mate. He doesn't have a name, so that doesn't work. GG's mate. GG's. First medal in the bucket. So we're gonna finish the hole in the loot map. Or do I wanna go for tree stump? We can still switch, guys. I want a black bot or something for sure. It really motivates me when I keep black bottering. Yeah, let's do tree stump. Let's do tree stump. I'm more interested in that right now. Let's finish that map. So next up we have deflation mode. Deflation means we start at some specific round, right? Or we get money and we don't get more money. Something like that. If anyone wants to join me, here's the code. AOA. There's no way he's going to stay for an easy round. That's what I said. If there's any cool people watching right now, here's the code. Let's do some co-op, cozy co-op games. This is fine. 3 people. Welcome in, Morita, and welcome in, another guy. You start with 6,000 cash and you have to win round 60. Let's do... let's do this. Wanna try him out, I guess. 6k? Ooh, yeah. Let's do him. Wait, does LCD not buff wizard monkeys? At some point? Fuck, what do you go for? Wall of Fire or Arcane Blazed with Shimmer? With Necromancer. Frick. Against attack on... feel like you go for this. I'm gonna wait. Strong, oh yeah. You guys, you start right there. Okay. That's good. We could pull one of these. We don't have enough money for that. Let's do a ninja right there. Wait, no. Let's do a Camulet sniper. Camulet is always good to have. Let's put him there. Yeah. We got 1k left. I should save that for this upgrade. Yo, is there anyone who knows what you pick with Necromancer? What's the meta? Arcane Blast or Wall of Fire? Magic shots last longer and Seeker for the Bloons, even behind cover. Bigger, more powerful blast. Every few seconds, cast in case you're super out Wall of Fire, I should check your of the pass. This is basically Camulet then. We don't need that much Camulet, so I'll do this. Power magic pass. Yeah, why not? Player 2. Tell Zebra. Let's do... maybe for safety, one of these? Just why not? This should be good too. Back. Yeah, why not? Who cares? Alright, we done. Money spent. Facecam can go back to this corner. Okay. Okay. Is there only deflation where you get money in the beginning and then you basically shill the whole game? I kind of like that. It's really fun. Is he getting pops? Let's fucking go. I could do this. Just so the other monkeys also get some pops. Why not? Brother, you have 1000 Murita! Murita! Look! Brother! Spend your money. Maybe go for a mob mauler. Should be good. Hello. Good day, sir. So there's ability has Nary Bloons and instant learns Echo Haste. Echo Haste. Oh, we could do this as well. Such a cool thing for like affiliated and partnered Twitch channels. This is... Bye, 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 meine Liebe des Lebens. Can I get a 6-7 in chat from all the people that are alive? Alive and alive. I won't start any conversations with you guys. I just want to know, is there anyone? Don't be scared. Say hello. We did it. Oh my god, that was the guy's whole purpose. Nah. Oh, that's a fucking G, brother. That's a fucking G. Shout out to you, bro. Now I get it. Bye bye, meine Liebe des Lebens. Here's the code if anyone wants to join. Es ist ein unglaublich schöner Tag. We go for tree stump. Wait, what is that border that we just got there? Why do we have a... Ah, I get it, okay. This is like bronze, and then it's gonna turn into silver, and then into gold, and then into black. Let's try that. Military next. Let's do some map split as well, some cursed one maybe. Nah, no cursed one. I want the tree this time. Let's do this. Right? Nah, it's too cursed. Cup and Thief. 0. Tekau Alpha. Hello. Just Dyran and Tekau Alpha. GG's, mate. Free play. Tekau, if you are watching right now, we do free play. If you are random, I won't. But hello, mate. Hello. Hello, hello. Yo, give me a thumbs up if you're watching. Tekau Alpha. I go for round 100. Max. I have a mission, brother. I have a mission. Mission is to get all the medals. ASAP. I wanna finish the game. Like, I wanna finish BT6. Let's go. Wait, what do we do against mobs? Yeah. Let's craft a fighter plane. And also... this guy. Brother. Which one do you go for? Spy plane or center path? Let's go. We go for a large caliber. This guy is going for minigunners, I see. My man, Tekau Alpha. You're cooking up. Try some variety though. Try some variety. Like a buckshot. Brother, this guy can probably not even hear me. Why am I talking to him? Deadly precision. One shot ceramics. Should be good. And now we go for... yeah, center path. I think that's the meter. Yeah, why the hell not? Why the hell not? I want to try... a minigunner. Yeah, why the hell not? You know what? Why not this guy? Let's try him out. I mean, you gotta get that experience, right? So who is this? Mortar Monkey launches an exploding mortar shell to a fixed location anywhere on the screen. On the screen, a bigger blast, radio, smash it through, pure damage. Let's check it as well. Okay, support. Faster attacks, faster attacks. Yes, we need this. Heavy shells. We go for heavy shells. Heavy shells do extra damage to ceramic, lead, 45 mobs, and stun balloons. Holy moly macaroni. This is an all-arounder right there. What do I go with? Bigger blast, maybe? Maybe not. Increase accuracy. Kind of wanna... It's always such a tough decision on the monkeys. What you combine it with. Is there like some easy... Is there like an easy way to know what to pick? So this is basically... I don't need this, but... Special 3 layers of balloons. Okay. Is the 3 layers of balloons important if we talk about mobs? I don't think so, right? Maybe brownie stuff would be good there. Set ablaze. You know what? Let's go for the top. Yep. So I put him there. Bombardment ability. Unleashes a rapid fire attack in a slightly wider area. Upgrades to 3 barrels for incredibly fast attacks. Let's fucking go. It's good. Let's put him in the middle there so he gets both tracks. I like it, I like it. And we got an ability, let's try that out. At round 60. You want money, brother? Let's do totem and disability. Totem goes in. Right now and let's go. Damn. Tank can help just like that. Strong guy. Let's remember that. 2-4 artillery guy for mobs. GG's brother, but I gotta go. I gotta go. Very sorry. I'm on a grind, brother. I'm on a grind. Apocalypse. I'll do the same thing again. 2-3 mortar monkey. That was very fun. I like that guy. 2-3 mortar. If there's anyone who wants to play with me, here's the code. EOALHD. We're doing medium apocalypse 3 sub. Pusirika. Hello. Is anyone going to join me? Trying to do some content here. Hello. I see. Stay, brother. Yo, Jay joined. Jay. Since when do we have this game? I didn't know you had 13 chimps. If you ever see this, Jay. Apocalypse. Ever increasing balloon waves. No breaks at the end of each round. How far can you get? Easy. Let's try a glue gunner. And a water monkey. Oh, we got something new. Shattering shells. Strip special bloon properties of all but the biggest bloons. Burn these stuff melts through 5 layers with each shot. And burns mob class bloons for an extra damage. Also mob defense right there. We craft one in a minute. It's actually not expensive either. Just 370. Right there. Put him right there in the cross. And we go for heavy chests again. Bloon was heavy. Was very, very valid. And here we go for straight up support. Shall we try some damage, guy? Nah, we go straight up support. I like that. Who's this? Silas? Is he a good hero? Silas attacks with magical eyes. Hit bloons are rimmed. What does that mean? What does rimmed mean? Already rimmed bloons are frozen. Already rimmed and frozen bloons personalized. Okay. Level 20. Frozen bloons take even more damage during frostbite. Silas creates an ice walls more often. Monkey to freeze bloons. Freeze them yet longer again. Good shit, good shit. Why not? We do this though. Bit of support in the beginning. Now we gotta focus on this guy. We could theoretically go for that. Probably would also go for that. Yeah. 204 then. We could try that. Burning stuff made through 5 layers. And it's also against more bloons. Yeah. Let's try it. Brother, he's not getting any pups. Okay, sure. Brother. Who's carrying here? I feel like it's this guy. Holy crap, he's not getting any pops. Camo balloons pop by flares, lose their camouflage permanently. So. I can't wait to use this feature more times. Really cool feature. Wait, what's the max amount of monkeys that I can get at the end? 9. 5, 10, 15, 20. There's 24 and I get 9 of them. Probably do something like 5 then. Or 4. Blast chocolate. Okay. Whoa, 9,500. Are we actually getting that? Set them necromant so the balloons go in the path. Yeah. Moment of truth. Money experiment. Can you get 10k for doing nothing? I have a bad feeling about this. Okay, you absolutely can. You absolutely can. Shattering shells. Shattering shells strip special balloon properties of all but the biggest balloons. Burn your stuff melt through 5 layers with each shot and burns mob class balloons for extra damage. Boom! I can go. That was it. You know what? I give you a small GG, brother. But I gotta go. Choose 0-0. Okay. Good. Good. Thank you. Oh, should I go for a new hero? I'm only playing Azity since ever. Silas looks cool. Like, I go for the looks. I never see Rosalia. Is Rosalia that shit? Like, legit? I see every single hero, but I never saw Rosalia. Some workshop. Support hero, maybe? Pet Fusti is cool. We stick to her though. So next up we have medium and reverse. Let's see if anyone wants to join me. Flexi Dogs. There's no way he's going to stay. 32 shimps. Are you telling me you really want to play this random ass mode? That's crazy. Okay. One more, come on, cook up. Somebody. Let's fucking go. I love this. 4-player lobbies are the best. I won't do that. I'm not that evil. Hello. Shout out to you. Flexi Dogs, Vakilo, and Obok 2. Shout out to you. We go for a Sniper Monkey on the edge. Wait, give it. Oh my god, yeah, it's reversed. LOL. Oh, brother. Rip. But what did I do there? What did I do there? Let's go for Azity. I liked it. I liked it. Such a cool tower. Okay, 1.1 million XP compared to all of this. There's no fucking way. Ooh, does bonus damage to mob class balloons? I have a mission. I have a mission for this game. Let's try him. Bonus damage. Mob class balloons. Let's try this. What do you combine ice seekers with? Refreeze, shoot smaller ice bombs over longer range. Attacks faster, freezes for longer, increases pierce, freeze the next layer. Boah, Camulet. You could make him Camulet. Probably want this though. Yeah. Yeah, you probably want to go for that then. No? This is basically shit. This or this and this. Yeah, I go for that. Yeah. There you go. There you go. Let's take a look if Laios is live. He is. Shall I collab with him? Oh no, he's not playing this game. Never mind. Never mind. One K left. Can I please have 1,000 cash? If anyone can hear me. I need 1,000 cash. Shout out to Flexidox, vehicular, and Obok2 for playing with me. They're all randoms. But shout out to you. There you go. Let's go. Mob damage does bonus damage to mob class balloons. Frozen balloons grow sharp icicles that can pop balloons that touch them. That is actually interesting. Grow icicles that can pop balloons that touch them. Yeah. I mean, numbers don't lie, right? Holy crap. This guy's absolutely crazy, what the hell? Okay. Let's get an alchemist that just buffs. Ah. Yeah, let's get one alchemist that buffs everybody. Faster throwing. Okay. GG's. I'm gonna stay for the GG's. GG's, mate. GG's, mate. Let's keep going. Hard mode. What do we need? We have... I think we have this. Do we have this? What am I missing? What do we already have here? I feel like we have that and that. Let's do alternate balloon rounds. Brother, we are about to black border this. Let's go. Yo, if there's anyone watching right now who wants to play, here's the code. EOUXEF. Anyone can join, even if you are even when you are noob like Silver Lake. I literally don't care. Everybody can join. Sorry, mate. You're not a noob. I think my game is crashing. My game just crashed for some reason. Why though? Why is the game just crashing every now and then? I'm really confused. It's not like the game is heavy or anything. I'm in a fucking main menu screen. How was the crashing? Okay, here we go again. This must be half cash. And that other thing should be magic monkeys. Let's do this and then double HP and then empower and then chimps. Yo, can somebody carry me? Dennis is online. Let's see if Roku is online. Or him. Silverlake is back in the business. Power Dino? I know you. Is it you from yesterday? My friend, is it you? You know what? Let's fucking go. I'm not gonna wait any longer. I feel the Power Dino is the guy from yesterday. You're probably watching the stream as well. If not, then you are just extremely addicted. Why is there a glue gun and not free? Yo, thanks, mate. Really appreciate that. This game I wanna go for. Ah, you can have money back, of course. Are you sure about that, Power Dino? Are you sure about that, brother? Thanks, man. I go for 204. Danke, 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 danke. Okay. Reicht. Hallo. Hallo. The cowboy hats. Bro, you already make me rich. Focus on the dart monkey in the back. Kappa. We go for crossbow. Hello, by the way. I honestly don't know if he's like watching BT6 streams or if he's just extremely addicted. We had him yesterday night. I feel like he's playing all day. It's just random that he rejoined again. It's crazy though. We go for Necromant. $204. Striking beat, what are you doing? Okay. Okay. Oh, you can do that. Codes mob this is very, very, very viable. Late game. When there's a bunch of mobs. They straight up damage each other like crazy then. We should try that. Why the not? Hmm. Two free? 2 free if you still wanna support some guy. 0 free 2 if you wanna do crazy mob damage. Since we're playing 80 only, this should be good. Okay. The angels. Ooh. Huch. Easy. Easy. Get back up here. Oh, one and only Slimer. Thanks for the follow. I assume you're that guy from a Clash of Clans clan. If you're ever gonna watch this, thank you. Let's go. Now, when mob classes explode, brother, they will have a large explosion which is gonna damage all the balloons around them. Very, very OP. You can see the pops actually... Look at the pops now. Look at the pops. Oh, okay. We need more mobs. Yeah, we need more mobs. But you can see the pops, they're like... They jump. Look at that. Oh, now. Oh my god. Whoa! 300 in 1 second. What is that? Transforming tonic? Transformation ability turns alchemist into powerful attack monster for 20 seconds. Total transformation transforms 5 monkeys nerby into crazy attack monsters for 20 seconds. I wanna try that. I do wonder if it's viable though. Like, while they're transformed, they probably are not going to buff anyone anymore. So it has to be worth it. This is good. This is also something. This is something like that basically. Really good. I get one more upgrade and then. Oh wait, no, I'm done with that. Yeah, I can help you out, mate. Who wants money? What's the power, Dino? Oh, yeah. That's why she is so viable late game. I wanna try something. I wanna see if somebody has that. Chat, do I need the knowledge to make health with this? Or is it enough if one person has it? I can try, but I'm gonna make minus if I just try. Lol. I wanna try, I guess. Let's try us out. Marketplace. So, let's see. This should be enough to make money. Every round. No, it doesn't make money. I'm not sure if I need that knowledge or if it's like shared. I should take a look at my knowledge tree in a minute. I'm kidding us. Oh shit. This is good. 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 Yeah, we can fast forward. GG's power, do you know? GG's. Do we win? Do I win is the question. Oh, mob shredder. It's not worth it back here though. We should place it there then. Let's go for longest life spikes. On normal. Holy shit. GG's, mate. Oh, 400. You know what? I'm gonna pay 400. Last man standing. This should be good. Yeah. So automatic shit, no, like... Okay, good. Alright, we got this one. We should have this. I could try this. Yeah. There you go. There you go. We win? Question mark? We win. Oh wait, another one? Let's go. Brother left. I was about to pay. I was paying for the round, brother. Sad for you, my man. Sad for you. But we still managed. GG's. Chat, I'm gonna hop into a very cool game. It doesn't look like there's anyone who wants to play today, so what I do is, I do this. I got something prepared for that situation. I got something prepared for exact that situation. We might go into some defrost later with liars. But now I'm gonna do some Rocket League grinding. Today is just that type of day, right? It's okay, it's okay. It's always a gamble if you get people to play with in BTD or not. Today I lost the gamble, right? Put keys here. Let's go. Bring the pest, mate. Bro, that fucking micro. That micro. He was not prepared for that. Oh. No. Keep the ball up, keep the ball up, keep the ball. Jeez. Maybe, yeah, maybe, yeah. Brother. Der war so drinne, Alter. Oh man. Maybe. 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 Oh, okay. Good ball control. That is so tough. I have to push that. Come on, easy save. Nice. Sorry. Ah. Whew. Ah, nice. It's one of these again. Ah. Good bump. Very important bump there. I give you my heart. Nice. Good mates. Let's see. I accidentally took that one boost there. Is he going for that? No. Oh my god. It's not in. Got that. Holy crap. And Jenny don't know why he said bro just now? Ah, sad. Ooh, what a nice hit there. Chat. What is happening here? Ooh, good bump. There's no way this goes in. Oh my fucking god. Is today Sunday or what? Why so unlucky today? It's just one more hit. It's so often just one hit. Like, Gadget, it's so often one hit. Like, the last important hit, and then the automate can make the goal. That one hit is missing, though. Like, a simple ball hit is... Yeah, GG's, mate. Senorita. Senorita. Bro, Elias is just playing that one game, bro. Chat, what do we do? Should we start some MMO game? I need some game to like always like where I can always like fall back to. Okay, I mean, yeah, it is Rocket League right now, but Rocket League is not a content game at all. I need some other game which is actually content game. We need some type of fallback game. So whenever I'm feeling a bit down, unlucky games in some game or whatever, we go back to that one game and that's gonna save our day. I don't have that game. It is Rocket League, but it doesn't really save my day because it's not really anything I should be doing on Twitch. If we're talking about good stream entertainment, this is not gonna bring me anywhere in terms of growth. All I'm gonna get is fucking rages from my enemy team because they suck and then they rage at me. That's the only viewers I get from Rocket League. Oh man. We should go into some defroster flyers after this game. Why the hell not? Jay, are you there? I need someone to talk to while I'm still a small streamer. Or else I'm depressive. You're actually there? Yeah, how you doing? Oh my god. How are we doing on this beautiful Sunday? Jay? Is this in? This is in. This should be in. This should be in. If this is not in, this is in. Oh, sorry, mate. I assume you have a huge delay, Jay? Because you're not answering? Germany to your country, probably huge time travel. Let's go! Nah, it was a good pass. Was a good pass. Oh. I still got it. I said, how are you doing? Oh, he managed to hit that. Dude, I'm telling you, there is still some micro left that I can learn. Like, hitting the ball in crazy angles and shit like that. Oh, sorry, mate. Alter, ist das crazy, ey. Ist das crazy. Ein Scheißtag. Es ist crazy. Hello? Just when I mentioned that. Hit it in crazy angles. I do something like that. Oh man. My life in a nutshell, Jay. Unlucky and unlucky. Unlucky and fucked up. There you go, though. Good job. Doing well, I'm doing good. Thank you. Doing good. Went into some BTA 6. Played some games. Did not have anyone join today, which is very sad. Very, very sad. I love to play with viewers. That's like why I'm actually doing it, but I still play with some randoms and I'm close to black bordering one map. Like, next map. What's the cut again? Not the loop, but some other thing. But yeah, it was still okay. Wasn't the best experience today, but not every day is like peak, right? If you go with a mindset like that, then you're absolutely cooked. That's definitely not how Twitch works. Fucking goodness. Like, if I don't know if you get what I mean, Jay, but if I go in a mindset like, oh, every day I'm gonna have crazy fun in this and shit like that, it's not smart. It is basically a gamble because this is nothing like people don't. It's not our job to watch my stream, right? It's random. The whole business is random, so it's better to just not rely on anything. I don't know how to put it in words, but all in all, I should just like calm down a bit. Like when I play BT6 and nobody's running, it's what it is. That was a good shot, by the way. Ah, unlucky save though. Unlucky save. Okay, chat. I think we are done. Gonna ask Lias if he's there to play some. I explained it well. Like, yeah, I guess what I basically mean is to just not really care about numbers, right? It's not really numbers, it's just to have people in the chat. But I should get out of that mindset because lurkers make the majority of full Twitch. So I should just not care about that. Should try on having fun. And it's a long-term game, basically. It's a long-term game, not a short game. Short-term game. Okay, let's see though. If Lars is down to play some The Forest 2. Hello. Want to collab? Question mark. Let's see what he says.
To collab? Yeah, sure. Can do that.
Do you want to play
Yo, this is saving right now.
The
Perfect timing.
Forest 2?
To play the first? Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Interesting. Yeah. Gonna look at the next time. Oh, the end is complete. But I'm not actually getting any abilities out of, except from the last one here. But yeah.
Hello?
Hello? Hello?
Test.
Okay, now everything should work. Okay, now everything should work.
What?
Yeah, everything works now. So, hello.
Hello? Invite guest. Send invite. Is that new? I can start the share chat already and don't have to like, wait until you're inside? Wait, so once you come in, it will automatically start then? Invite? Send invite. Boom. Already taken? Eh? Are you joining the...
It doesn't show me to an OBS. I'm gonna go to my channel right now.
Okay.
I don't see the invite.
Then this is not working like that.
I'm gonna try a new one.
To knock. Okay. Boom. Just knock on some random ass people streams. Why is it letting me that? Chat.
Ah, ja, was works.
I'm depressed.
What's up?
I had nobody play with me BT6. I only played with randoms. I got full lobbies though. I got a few full lobbies, and I made progress. So to the black border. I'm like, what I'm doing right now, which is actually fun, is I go live, and when I play BT6, I'm not just doing random maps anymore. Like right now, I try to focus on one map, finish it.
Yo, that's very cool.
It's really fun actually.
Oh my, that's as well sometimes.
I like to play like that, like one by one. Really fun. Do you wanna hop into some Forest 2? Kind of some chill survival?
Yo, let's do that.
Okay. I'm also gonna do Clash of Clans content in the future. So basically, I will download the program so I can play Clash of Clans, right? And then we're also gonna kick members on stream and shit like that for the content. I mean, I will do it.
Yeah, sounds good.
Kicking people is always fun.
Mm-hmm.
Except when it's some actual OG member, and then it feels kind of sad. I had that a few times already. Like I had to like kick some OG members of our clan that were there for a long time, but they're like off. Either it's always like they're either offline or it's pretty much only that. Yeah, they're only offline for a long time. That's like the main reason, right?
Yeah, most of them. Yep.
I think it's very, very rare that they're like not doing anything for the clan. Maybe that was one case or something like that. But since we are already talking about Clash of Clans, the clan is actually doing very well. We are not
really good.
We are not like losing any wars. We keep on winning. Like last 5 or 10 wars we win. Like the clan, it's going so good. It's doing so good.
Yeah, it's going very well.
Probably do another kick wave. Maybe like next stream or something. To get some fresh air into the clan, basically.
That's really good, yeah.
Bro, I'm just watching a stream and I'm just talking about. Wait, let me actually launch the game. Sons of the Forest. Open it there. With how many people can you play Sons of the Forest? Is it like limited to some shit?
I see 8-player lobbies here if I look through the lobbies.
Yeah?
Yeah, that's the highest I see. So 8-player, I guess. But it's already quite a bit.
Let's go.
Yep.
Let's finish this. Let's actually try to make some good progress today. Because I kinda wanna finish the game before we go on vacation.
I doubt that we're gonna do that.
We got today, we got Saturday, and we got Sunday, so 3 more days. Should be possible.
Yeah. If we super rush, but
Yeah.
I doubt we're gonna do that.
The thing is also, yeah, you're right. Like, it's like a survival game, right? We're not just gonna rush, you're gonna build some bit, sometime.
Oh.
And
the first house we could do that because we know it already, but it's completely unknown for us.
and also that, basically. Do we want to listen to music? Not really. Not right now.
I'll just have the in-game music on.
Music. Yeah. It's always a vibe to play survival games with like no music. It's like very immersive.
Yeah.
The woman is here. Hello. She's friendly, right?
Yeah, she's not really doing much.
She is. But all those NPCs keep jump scaring me here. Jay, is the audio fine? Let me walk around a bit. Wow. Yo, Jimmy. We're back. We left you here for a few days. You managed to survive, however. I'm proud. Really proud. Where's the woman now? She just vanished? She's over there. Yeah, we could sleep once we're here. It's already nighttime.
Oh, what? We wanted to go in a cave anyway, I think, right?
Yeah. Is there one?
Yeah, we stepped right next to a cave.
Ah, okay. Yeah, then, we don't really have to sleep.
Mm. Just gonna make us hungry if we do.
Yeah. How was your stream so far?
Was very good. Not really someone in chat, but was fun.
Well. Wait, why is that? Okay.
The cave was down here, I think.
I got rotten meat. Can you still cook that?
I don't think that's eatable still.
I can eat it.
You can eat it, but you get ill after that. If you do.
Ah.
And I just
Oh,
saw a
wait.
tip in the loading menu.
Wait. Canned food. Let me try. How much food does this give me? Is it gonna be enough? Wait, combine? Cat food. Huh? I can't even eat that. You can just combine it. Alright, yeah, I'm still 50%. But I have to sleep. It's like blinking red.
Oh, then I guess we gotta sleep.
Wait, is it actually? Do we have to?
I don't know what happens if you're dying from if you don't have sleep, if you're tired. But you have this negative or something, probably.
Wait, is this some? You are tired. Oh yeah. Chat. Do we need to sleep in this game, or is it like just some? It basically just day and nighttime. Yeah, let's go sleep.
A moment.
I honestly feel like nothing will happen. Wait, it says you are tired though, so
Yeah, it's probably
why
gonna
would it
use
say
a
it
small
then?
debuff.
Yeah.
Like for example, you can get and collect here's yarrow, a plant. Collect that, you can make health mixes with that.
Which one?
Yarrow, it's called. It's some white plant.
Ah. What can I do with that?
Together with aloe vera health mix.
Oh, great. Yeah, let's sleep.
Yep.
You have to eat right away.
Mm-hmm.
Can I change your stream quality? No. Man.
Ah, lucky.
Why we never get that? Do I have that?
We had it at the beginning at least.
Jay, do I have the stream quality options? I had that?
At the beginning, yeah.
Oh, cannabis.
Oh. Yeah, they.
They're like on trees.
Okay.
I gotta eat, brother. I gotta eat something first.
Okay.
What is? What are those people over there? Huh?
What?
I'm a confused.
Really cannibals, right?
Do you see that as well, or is it?
Yeah, there are people or something. Okay, they're hanging there on sticks.
Who are they?
They look like people from our plane, maybe helicopter, maybe like or some.
Jimmy, come over, brother. Okay, got some food.
can't really do anything with them. Yeah.
Can't carry any
yeah.
more meat. Alright, brother.
There's also food in
Then
here,
what I
water.
wanna do is this. Drop all the junk. Pick up the good stuff. Sorry, what?
Yeah, oysters in the water again.
Ah, perfect.
We need more food.
This game is beautiful.
Yeah, looks really good.
I could stand here all day. Look, cannibal incoming. From where we just came.
Okay, yeah.
Can you have an eye on them, collecting oysters?
Yeah, he's just standing there.
Oh yeah. Let me also push the truck.
Yes, now he's coming here.
Wait, what is that? Is that some attack? It's not. GG's.
Oh, you're down.
Kill him, please.
He's dead.
Good job.
Get his arms and legs.
Where's the fire stuff? Ah, yeah, right. Forest 2, you just get a stick. And then you do this. Boom. And... right? No? Ah, yes. Yes. Does red means it's ready? I guess now it's ready. Let me grab the good food first. Okay, doesn't matter. Yeah, we can go. I'm ready.
Oh man.
I got energy and I'm ready to crack straight into it.
Yo, I got molotovs and I'm out ready.
Let's crack straight into the cave.
Yeah.
Wait, it's burning. 1 second. Lol. Chat, do you get health on your own? Or am I forced to eat this right now? Like, how do you get health in this game? Is it just through the mats? I should make some of these. Where did... Let's go.
Yep.
Let's go. Folgen Sie mir, Sir.
I'm coming.
Wir gehen rein in die Cave.
Mhm.
First cave of the playthrough.
A second, I think.
Second.
Yeah, we went to the small one at the beginning.
I can foresee that there's gonna be cannibals inside.
Yeah, probably. And wait, one thing, I need to hotkey my gun still.
Wait, what? Oh yeah. Why is it hotking a fucking light bulb, mate? Stop hotking the light bulb.
Yeah, put him on.
Stop hotking anything. You know, if anyone knows how to disable auto hotking shit to my backpack, please tell me. Wait. We talked about it. Wait, can you just press 1 on the X? 1.
Yeah, you can do that.
Ah, perfect.
They have a torch.
That's like the OG style. 1. Wait, bow? What else we need? Bow and
Gun.
X?
Yeah, bow, axe, gun. I also have molotovs and a torch on it.
Where's the bow?
On the left somewhere, I think.
Bow should be 2. And gun is 3.
And there are grenades as well.
Oh, way better, brother. Way better. The backpack feature is well made, but it's kind of stupid that they did it. Everything gets hotkey to it.
Yeah, if they didn't do that, I would maybe use it much more.
Yeah.
Now I'm probably not gonna use it anymore.
100%. Wait, lighter? Yep. What is it?
I think just cave open noise.
Brother. Yeah. I'm out of here, brother. Good luck. Can I wait outside?
No, I don't think that's a good idea.
Was ist das?
A laptop.
Why is der Laptop here?
Entertainment bunker discovered. On the map, maybe? Yeah, I think you got a new location or something.
New location discovered. Entertainment bunker. Ooh, okay. Oh yeah, no signal down here. No signal down here.
And there's an air tank. So we gotta dive again at some point, I guess.
Wait, what is this? Oh.
Oh, just light. And a note.
Jay, I can see it so badly, Jay. You're enjoying this already. Because it's a fucking horror game. And if you know me, I'm really scared of horror games. Really scared. The Sunset Times. Puffcorn, Props Bits, Sahara, Rapid 6 for Remote Island. Locations Island is still unknown. Lawyers under strict NDA regarding sale. What the fuck this? This is way too immersive. I wanna play the Forest 1 again.
This is really good here.
Why are we in here?
We just found a cave and went in. Ah, there's someone.
Alter, was? What the fuck is that?
What?
Bro, that just... Wait.
Is it?
Oh, leave the damn inventory! What?
Where is so many sides you come from? Wait, I still don't know. Just fast. Why has he so much health?
Should be good.
Oh, I'm out of arrows. Gonna use Molotovs.
Still learning how to craft shit in here. Can I just spam everything together and then... Boom. Did it take all of my stuff? No. I think it did. Ah, okay. Yeah, that's well made, that's well made. I just spam this. Now we should be good. Dude, what are those zombies though? There's some special mutations.
Yeah, and they're very tanky as well. You grab some arrows. And you can take something from them, but you should have to him, yeah.
His fucking head blew off. Oh my god, what is
They
that?
have creepy armor. So they are basically armsies in this game. In the same level at least. Eyes down. Yo, we got 2 creepy armor now.
Yeah, nice, nice, nice. Okay, brother.
Okay, it's down.
Dude, honestly, sometimes I feel like I'm playing some Souls-like games. They got way better.
Yeah,
they know how to follow up. They know where to hit. They have some prediction going on. The CPU got way better.
It's way more dangerous.
Oh, there's fishes everywhere.
Ah, nice.
Let's make some food here.
You can pick up the arms. I want to make it good otherwise. Let me check if I can have everything for to make a soup. Okay, I couldn't fill Wasser, so I can't make then I'm gonna make normal food.
No. Whoops. Brother. Where's the other one? Wasn't there another one back here? Oh. I wonder where we are going. Duct tape. How do you make duct tape? Wire? There has to be a way to make duct tape. Lars, how do you make duct tape?
I don't know if you can even make that.
Wait, that's the thing I need, right? Yeah. Yo, chat, if anyone knows how to make duct tape, please share. That's good. Wait. Yo. Can you use that? Test. Can you? No. Wait, you can. Ah. Wait, no, right?
Hallo? Can you hear me? Har du expressed my förstappa?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
It's actually good quality.
Well, it's for this thing, but I don't take any damage.
You're burning, brother.
Why am I taking damage?
You're burning.
Oh, okay.
Okay, apparently we ain't gonna make any duct tape. Which feels very odd. It feels very odd that you're not able to just spam skeleton armor. Used to be
well.
so easy, affordable. in the forest 1, it feels odd. I feel like there's some way to make duct tape pretty cheap.
Probably.
Chat, how do you make duct tape? Somebody you can make leaf armor though. That's what you can spam. Yeah, you can spam that.
Yeah. But I also don't have that much cloth right now.
Where's all the leaf armor I just created? Is it somewhere in there? Ah. Nice. Yeah, it took some time, but I'm ready now.
Okay, then we have left and right.
How do you get health in this game? Wait, you can make health mix, right?
Health mix, yeah.
Wait, this is energy mix. Wait.
The aloe vera and that one we found just outside the cave.
Oh, nice. How much does that give me? Ooh. Good health.
Yep, that's very useful.
Okay, brother. That's crazy.
Okay, he's down.
Move, move, move.
Oh, there's a big one again.
He ate a headshot. He ate a headshot. He ate a headshot.
There's no light at all here.
Did I get him? Alright, he's down.
The big one is still there.
Never mind, he's still here.
Okay, it's down.
Nice. We
Is it
save.
perfect?
We save the key pre-armor for later shit.
Okay, the music was on the other path. You ready or about for that?
I got that.
Okay. Oh, babies.
What the fuck? Huh?
Ooh,
Stun?
gun. Very cool.
A stun gun? Huh? That's fucking cool. 5. Damn, that's cool. That's cool, damn. Yeah, that's cool as fuck. Holy shit, is dead.
What?
Holy crap, is dead. Holy crap.
Oh, what? Whoa. Do we have to fight that?
How do you get there?
There were 2 more paths, so maybe one of them.
Holy shit. Let's go. Guys, why do I have the feeling that we are at the end game? Am I correct? Am I correct with that? Jay? I honestly feel like we're at the end game. Bro, I feel like we are at the end game.
Yeah, this looks...
This looks too crazy.
And there were 2 that gives triple armor already. Or 3 even.
Wait a second.
Oh yeah, here's way down.
Yeah.
What's over here? Oh, there's a come from out. Then let's go down.
Sure. Jay, are you there? Hello, please answer me. I'm very depressed. What way?
Forward is the only way, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Ah ja, the way down.
Cat food. What is the other item I need? Ah, I need something to open it. Shit, where do I get that? Where do I get that? See one of these and let's drink a soda. Nice. Today is a very cozy day, guys.
Jo.
Like, straight up just cozy.
Mhm.
Is today Sunday? Because Sundays are very cozy always.
No, we're pretty sure today is Friday.
Wait. Do you hear that?
What do you mean?
Okay. Which way? This way?
Then there are two more. There's up here. Yeah, there are two more ways again.
Ooh, blueprint.
Very cool. A grave, I guess.
They give you everything, but they don't give you duct tape.
Yeah.
Like the item that you were actually looking for.
That's kind of nowhere.
It's so necessary. Yet they don't give us.
Yeah.
Instead I get some random ass items.
And there are skeletons in the wall. Like in some stuff there.
What is that? Like some slimy shit?
Yeah, looks like it.
Wow. Oh, what is this? We're never getting out of this cave, by the way.
Yeah, and we never. I guess.
Oh, wait. This is like some end game. Like last game, these doors was end game.
Yeah, this looks quite a bit like.
Remember, you have electric shocker. Remember.
Yep.
What is that?
Electricity. Question mark.
Okay. Okay.
Interesting.
Where is that in the inventory? That is a item.
A question mark. You can combine it with more question marks to make an artifact, I guess. So that's what we're looking for.
Where is it in the inventory?
A bit to the left.
Ah. Okay, we need the... Oh my god, we need to find 7 things. I'm pretty sure we need that for the end game.
Yeah, pretty sure.
Oh my goodness, brother.
So quite a bit cave exploring, I guess.
Yep. Forget it, we're not gonna finish until Monday. It's not gonna happen.
No, never.
By the way, chat, we're gonna do some EIS streams on next week. We're going to another country. First time ever since 2019, since I ever started Twitch. I'm gonna do some real EIS streams, like restaurant, bleep bleep bloop. Just the mainstream shit that you probably have seen already. So no more hiking streams for now. Yeah.
Yep. There are quite a bit, few more powers in
That was definitely worth it.
Yeah.
Now we check what is this. Wait, we came here?
There's one more here, I think.
And this is just a scam, right? Yeah.
Okay.
Right? Yeah. That's also new. The Forest 2. It's like many dead ends. That's... No... I don't even know. This is dead end anyway.
Okay. Nice.
Honestly, don't know where... Oh, hello.
Hello? Wait, how did you get here? From me? You were just behind me, what?
From here. Where's our guy, by the way?
He waits outside, probably.
What? Probably way too difficult to like code something like that. Honestly, where are we?
No idea. Ah, here again.
Yeah. It should be it. This should be the... Wait, you can't even... Oh, yeah.
This should be down there. Up there are still more paths.
One artifact part. Crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Yo, look at that.
What?
On the side, like a skeleton.
Ah.
Can you get down? Wait.
I
No.
don't think you can get
No,
there.
no.
I don't think we went over here, right?
Yeah, I don't know. Okay, brother. Where do I go? Brother. This is good, this is good. Okay. This way.
Rebreather. Insane.
No way. That's a huge find.
Yeah. So there's probably gonna be something underwater here. First I need to run to eat.
This is a Goldgrube.
Yeah, there's insane amount of stuff in here.
Nice. Yay! GG's. GG's. We got a rebreather. But we still have no duct tape.
This leaf arm doesn't
How the
look
hell
like
do we
it's
make
doing
duct tape?
anything. It's just a bunch of leaf covering you.
Bro, maybe I guess it could be just for like stealth.
Yeah, it's possible. No idea.
Wait, dirty water? I mean, yeah, I have to cook it right. Zipline rope. Hmm?
Actually, let me cook something. And I'm also tired.
I don't know if we can sleep.
I can make a tub, maybe. Let me see.
What can
Yeah, I
make
can build a
here?
tub. I'm gonna do that.
Oh, you can make a flashlight. You need the broken flashlight for that. We don't have that, right? Of course we don't. What else can you make with this? A chainsaw? It's just the battery. Okay, yeah, okay, I got it.
Then
GPS locator. And tech armor. That sounds interesting. You can combine a pistol. Assume. Wait, are there tooth? That's something I noticed. There's no tooth in this game, right? You can't like make your weapons faster or something? Probably can somewhere. I mean, you can see the lines. No, you cannot combine it. I guess it's not a thing. It's not a thing.
coming soon.
Good night.
Good night.
Good morning.
Good morning. Do you have sticks? I can make a soup.
I have 2 sticks.
Yeah, I think that's enough for a campfire.
No. Also, let's save here.
Yeah, and the soup is cooking.
Nice.
And why is he still tired?
Wait,
Still
what
nothing
is that? Yeah.
Super weird.
Wait. You don't have to rest in this game, right? Like, actively sit down every now and then. Nah. Yeah, honestly don't know. There's like 2 red dots and like a little bit of blue line. Very, it's like,
Very weird.
is that a shark? That's a shark there.
There's a shark in here? What?
Yeah.
Is there shark? Okay, and there's probably something in this water because we got the rebirth here. I guess we're swimming with the shark. Ah, so it's done.
Oh, very good food.
Hmm. Now I'm gonna try if I can actually take it with me.
Hmm?
And yeah, I have now just soup in my inventory. Perfect.
I kinda wanna kill that shark.
But how?
Where is it? Over there. It's coming. Why is there a shark in? It's so random, bro.
Oh, it's down.
It's dead. Nice. Is that it? What is the thing in the middle? Nothing. crazy. Just a rainbow shark.
And they're actually very weak.
Is there anything?
Is there nothing for now?
I assume the cave goes on somewhere. Wait, no? Ah, here. Yeah.
Ah, yeah.
Shark incoming, Kappa.
Yeah. I hope not. We can't really fight underwater, I think.
How did the shark came in here? Is this connected to the ocean?
Even then, how did the shark fit through here and survive in there?
Oh my god.
Oh god, flashback by the sun. Okay, and we are at the ocean. Ah yeah, over there's a cave entrance.
Free food.
Nice.
Why am I still tired? Chat, what is this? I just slept, but it's still blinking red, and there's two small red dots. Like it can't regenerate, it's like stuck. And I also don't know if there's some tab where we can see all the debuffs. That'd be amazing.
Would be very good. Yeah, because I'm tired, but what does that mean?
Yeah.
I turn the loading screen, poison just reduce your max health, but when you're tired does.
Duct tape, how do you get duct tape?
Maybe it doesn't go up much because we were in the top on a stone floor, and that just doesn't bring much.
Yeah. Let's save here.
Yep.
And I think I'm gonna call it for today.
Okay.
Was fun.
Yo, very fun today.
Thanks for joining up.
Really good progress.
Yeah. We got the rebrief. I'm pretty sure the rebrief was like needed.
Mm-hmm. And one of the artifacts.
And that. Oh wait, here's white flour. Very good stuff. Oh my god.
Oh, that's super important.
He's okay. Save once more.
Yeah.
We should probably maybe tomorrow play a bit more. The first two.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I did a long session of BD6 today. Maybe we just do the first two tomorrow.
Yeah, we can do that. Oh, there's a cannibal.
I'm gonna shoot them. I'm gonna shoot them all, but I'm not gonna save the game.
Wow.
Just for,
That's a good idea.
just for a bit fun. Oh, bro, piss is fun as fuck.
Yeah, but I'm already out of ammo from the big guys in the cave.
Damn, this is fun.
Yeah. And there are gonna be more guns in this game. This is awesome.
Really hope the game is not saving right now, because I don't want it to save.
It's been annoying. We wasted ammo then.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, should not have saved. We are good. We are in the clear.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, thanks, bro. Have a good one.
Yeah, you as well.
Oh, chat, that was it. Today was a bit more low energy stream. Twitch is a tough game. I do not recommend doing Twitch to anyone. That is, I generally don't recommend doing Twitch to anyone. It's a really, the game is a pain game. It's pain. But I'm kind of addicted to it. That's why I'm doing it since 2019. But it's really, really unrewarding. It's really unrewarding. But whatever. Thanks for the stream, chat. We are gonna see us tomorrow, most likely. And I hope we get some more energy back then, right? I hope we are back on track. Nevertheless, I wish you all a good rest of your day. Thanks for watching. Drop a follow if you want to see more content. Also, check out my YouTube channel. Drop some likes over there, hype it, and also join the Discord server. I'm currently doing a giveaway. You can win a Steam gift card, $10 or $30 if you are in the pick stream. All the information on how to join is on my Discord server. You can literally get free money, basically. You don't have to pay a single penny. Just kind of support my Twitch channel. And yeah. Basically be part of the community. Well, with this I'm gonna say goodbye and see you all next time. You'll probably see us again before I do the EIS stream. So tomorrow we should, yeah, probably do some daily streams tomorrow in 2 days and in 3 days. And on Monday probably ERL. We see how it goes, right? Goodbye, chat. Goodbye, friends. Goodbye, friends.